Hey, welcome back on your Sunday morning. The date for Iowa's First in the Nation Republican Caucus was announced yesterday. That contest taking place on January 15th, 2024, where Iowans are going to be able to choose from the field of Republican presidential candidates. And joining us now is an American entrepreneur and businessman from Ohio who's running for the White House, Mr. Vivek Ramaswamy. Thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
It's good to see you again. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So like I just said, that caucus date, I'm sure you got it on your calendar, but just announced yesterday. You've been to Iowa a lot over these recent months. When you've been talking with Iowans in your visits, what are they communicating to you, their biggest issues or their biggest concerns?
I think the top issue domestically is absolutely the economy. The top issue on foreign policy is absolutely China. And this is why I love Iowans, because their eye is directly on the ball. My campaign is dead focused on both of those issues. I want to focus on delivering economic growth. Biden has given us less than 1% GDP growth this year. I have a clear plan to get us back over 4% GDP growth. And declaring independence from our enemy, Communist China, is also at the top of my foreign policy agenda. And that really seems to be resonating with Iowans. I should also say that I am now an evangelist for the First in the Nation status for Iowa. I'm glad to see that early caucus date, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be fun, having fun cover it as well, too, from my end. It'll be a good time. So we got a crowded field, too, with the former president and the primary running, too. Most polls, they have you floating around from fourth, either to the 6 spots behind the former vice president. I mean, do you see a clear path to the White House from where you are right now?
I do. Actually, in the most 3 recent national polls, I was in 3rd place, which is great, because even 4 months ago, no one in this country had heard of me. And even still, very few people in the country yet know who I am, which I think is a good thing. I'm looking forward to introducing myself on my own terms. I'm going to be in Iowa. I've been there more than any other candidate by far, and we're going to continue doing that, including this coming week. Part of what I'm enjoying about that is there's no TV screen between us. There's no social media algorithm between us. So I'm taking my time for the country, starting with Iowa, to get to know me, and I'm playing patiently for the long game. I'm confident we're going to do very well in Iowa, and I'm confident we're going to win this election. I'm the first millennial ever to run for the GOP nomination for U.S. president, and I'm doing it for too long as a movement. We've been running from something. I'm leading us to start running to something, and that's something that I see that voters are very hungry for. That's why I'm in this race.
We just saw video, too, at Celebration in downtown Des Moines a month and a half ago. We're going to switch over to some national topics. Now, in late June, a couple weeks ago, the United States Supreme Court striking down affirmative action in college admissions, essentially saying that race cannot be a factor when applying for a school. Now, I'm going to assume you're in support of that ruling.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I've been a longtime advocate for eliminating affirmative action. When I launched my presidential campaign, one of the first things that I said was that I would repeal affirmative action in every sphere of American life. This Supreme Court holding in college admissions makes my job that much easier. For example, Lyndon Johnson issued an executive order, 11246 is what it's called, that creates race-based preferences in the private sector if you're doing business with the government. That includes 20% of the U.S. workforce today working for a company that has to adopt racial quotas. I've said that on day one, I would take a pen and cross a line through that executive order. Every Republican president could have done it since Lyndon Johnson. None actually had the spine because they viewed it as too controversial. But those are the kinds of issues that I'm taking on. Most Americans support me on this. That's what it means to live in America. You're judged not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. And as somebody who myself, I've lived the American dream. As the kid of immigrants who came to this country with almost no money, I've founded multi-billion-dollar companies while also following my faith in building a family. That's what I want to pass on to the next generation.
We could go more onto that, but we're going to go to another national topic here. The Russian, international topic, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. You recently tweeted, too, at both President Biden and a member of your own party, Lindsey Graham, telling them to stop pushing for Ukraine to being admitted into NATO. If you're in the White House, if you're in the Oval Office, what would you do to stop the war and stop the killing?
Here's what I would do. I would negotiate a peace treaty that would freeze the current lines of control. It's a Korean War-style armistice agreement. That's what ended the Korean War. That's what'll end this war. I would further make a commitment that NATO would not admit Ukraine. That's key. But I would demand something even more valuable from Putin. Russia has to exit its military alliance with China. The China-Russia military alliance is the top threat that the U.S. faces. And if we accomplish that, then Xi Jinping will have to think twice before he goes after Taiwan. Because Xi Jinping's bet is that the U.S. will not want to go after Russia and China at the same time in the case that China goes after Taiwan. But if we pull Russia out of China's camp, then Xi Jinping will be deterred from going after Taiwan. That's how I'll accomplish the top foreign policy objective of the next U.S. president. It's got to be to deter China from going after Taiwan without going to war. And that's the way I'll lead this country, putting the interests of Americans first, not spending our money to defend somebody else's border somewhere else. But I've said that I would use our own military to secure our own southern border right here in the United States. That's how you end the fentanyl crisis. That's how you solve the migrant crisis. That's how you save lives from drug-related deaths in this country. That's the kind of president I want to be, solving problems without apology, standing for the truth. That's how I look at foreign policy.
All right, one last quick question for you here. You got 20 or 30 seconds here, Mr. Ramaswamy. Pitch it to our viewers. What makes you the right man for the job?
I think we're in the middle of a national identity crisis today, where if you ask most people my age, what does it mean to be an American? You get a blank stare in response. What I'm doing is I'm filling that void with the vision of American national identity that runs so deep that it dilutes the woke poison to irrelevance. And when I leave office, I will tell you once again, we've shut down the administrative state. We declared independence from China. And most importantly, my two sons' generation, young Americans, they're proud to be citizens of this country again. That's my job as the young person in this race. And I'm confident in the next 8 years, we're going to deliver it.
Close to 30 seconds, maybe a little over. But Mr. Ramaswamy, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning. Maybe we can do this in the future in studio or something like that.
I'd love that. Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Hey, we'll be right back with more news after this break.